So, two things are true about UK business right now, and they are both important. The conditions are hard. National insurance went up, the living wage went up, the Employment Rights Act arrived, energy prices stayed high, rates were revalued, software stacks got repriced by AI, service margins also got repriced by AI, buyers got more cautious, hospitality lost three pubs and restaurants a day. I could go on. And at the same time, many businesses, well, they're thriving. Not in spite of the conditions, but sometimes because of them. Companies are taking share, expanding margins, attracting talent, moving faster than they have in years. Same country, same rules, same costs, same AI, same budgets, but different outcomes. And this is the part I want to talk about. Because if the conditions were the deciding factor, every business would be moving in the same direction. They are not, which means something else is doing the deciding. So in January, Mark Carney gave a speech at Davos, and I've not been able to put it down. He told a story about a Czech philosopher called Václav Havel. Havel asked a simple question: how did the communist system in Czechoslovakia sustain itself for so long? It was not popular. Almost no one believed in it. So why did it last? So his answer began with a greengrocer, the picture that I have on screen right now. Every morning, this shopkeeper placed a sign in his window. The sign said, "Workers of the world, unite." Importantly, he did not believe it. His customers did not believe it. The party officials who walked past it did not believe it. He placed the sign in his window anyway, to avoid trouble, to signal compliance, to get along. And because every shopkeeper on every street did the same every morning, every day, for years, the system held. Not because anyone agreed with it, because no one was willing to be the first to take their sign down. The system did not survive on force. It survived on the everyday performance of a known lie. So I believe that something similar is happening in the UK right now, quietly, without anyone meaning it. The board packs still show the growth number from a plan written in a different world. The 5-year strategy still hangs on a wall somewhere. Perhaps the OKR cascade is still there from assumptions that the leadership team privately know are no longer valid. The all hands still tells a story of momentum. The board meets and ends the meeting with cautious optimism. And in private, in the corridors afterwards, in the late night message to the trusted peer, in the honest moment with a coach, leaders are saying the same thing. This is not working anymore. The model is broken. We are pretending it is not. That is the sign in the window. The greengrocer was not a bad man. He was a man trying to get along in a difficult system. Every leader placing a sign in 2026 is doing the same thing, trying to hold the team together, trying not to spook the board, trying to give the people who work for them stability and confidence. The sign goes up for understandable reasons, but it stays up because nobody wants to be the first to take theirs down. And as long as the sign stays up, the real work cannot start. This is the dividing line I keep seeing in UK business right now. It is not big versus small. It is not new economy versus old. It's not even sector. There are thriving hospitality businesses and struggling SaaS businesses, thriving consultancies and struggling manufacturers. thriving retailers, and struggling agencies. The line runs through every sector and every size. On one side are the leadership teams who took the side down, who looked at the conditions, named what was actually happening, and made deliberate choices about what to keep, what to change, and what to stop. On the other side are the leadership team still placing the sign every morning, still running on the operating rhythm of a different era, still hoping the conditions will revert, still grinding the existing model harder and getting less for it. Same conditions, different posture towards them, different results. This is what is actually happening. We are in the middle of a rupture, not a transition. A transition means the same story, a different chapter. You can wait it out. The old rules will mostly hold. A rupture means the story is over. The old rules do not apply. The businesses that are thriving understood this early. They stopped trying to optimize the old model and started architecting a new one. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for certainty. They moved. The businesses that are stuck are still treating it as a transition, still waiting, still hoping, still performing. That diagnostic choice, transition or rupture, is the most important call a leadership team will make this year. Most have not made it out loud. Here is the part nobody wants to say. In a year like this one, individual self-protection is the thing that quietly sinks businesses. It is not the time to be looking for a job. It is not the time to be quietly updating your CV in case things go badly. It is not the time to be hedging, protecting your reputation, building your personal brand, keeping options open just in case. Sure, I understand why people do it. The conditions are hard. The future is uncertain. Self protection is a deeply held human response to pressure. But it is the thing that turns a leadership team into a collection of individuals occupying the same room. The thriving businesses are not the ones with smarter leaders. I know this. They are the ones who leaders chose to be all together when it mattered the most. It is also not the time to run shadow strategies. There is a version of leadership in difficult years that mistakes private disagreement for contribution. The director who has reservations they share only afterwards. The leader who agrees in the room and runs their own version of the strategy out of their function. Smart people, when the official strategy feels broken, quietly build their own. But we cannot afford it. Not the dilution, not the divided attention, not the cash spread across 3 or 4 competing plans held together by politeness. There is only enough cash, only enough attention, only enough energy in a year like this to back one strategy properly with everything we have. So we have to do difficult things. We have to have the conversations that we have been avoiding, the honest one between the CEO and the CFO about whether the plan adds up, the honest one between functional leaders about whose priorities are actually first when there is not enough resource for all of them, the honest one about which projects are still alive because we started them, not because they are still moving what matters. The honest one between the SLT and the people below them who can see things that the SLT cannot. The honest one between each leader and themselves about whether they are still all in on this or whether they have already half left. These conversations are uncomfortable. They are also the only thing that converts a group of senior people into a leadership team. There can only be one SLT, not factions, not camps. not the people who report to the CEO and the people who really run things. One team. And there can only be one strategy, not the public one and the actual one, not the board version and the operating version. One. There is one more piece, and it's the one most leaders flinch at. You are not the only architects. The talent that sits below the SLT, the people running the teams, the people closest to the customer, the people doing the work, they see things the leadership team does not see. They know which processes are quietly broken. They know which projects are running on inertia. They know which customers are unhappy long before the data will show it. They are the co-architects of what comes next. Not because we are being democratic, because we cannot redesign a business without the people that actually run it. In the old model, strategy was something the SLT did and then communicated downwards. People received it, people execute it, people were measured against it. That model was already creaking. It will not survive a redesign year. What replaces it is harder and better. Strategy is set at the top and made real in partnership with the people delivering it. They contribute to the design, they commit to the goals, they feel accountable not because they were told to, because they help build what they are accountable for. When that happens, the business moves at the speed it has never moved before. That is the multiplier. That is the unfair advantage. It is what the thriving businesses have. It is what almost no UK SME has by default. And I will tell you what this looks like when it works. The SLT meet and the conversation is about the business, not about turf, not about who is winning the internal argument, about the actual customer, the actual market, the actual numbers, the actual choices. When the decision is made, it is made. Every member of the SLT carries it out of the room as their own. The strategy is one document, not a deck for the board, a different deck for the team, and a third unspoken version that everyone actually operates by. One. The goals connect to the strategy, the projects connect to the goals, the data tells you whether your bets are working. When something is not working, you stop it. When something is working, you back it harder. The people below the SLT can describe the strategy in their own words. They know what their team is contributing to. They know how their work connects to the thing the company is trying to win at. When you ask them, they do not say the leadership team is doing X, they say we are doing X. That's the difference between a business being run and a business being architected. It's also the difference increasingly between businesses pulling ahead this year and the ones falling behind. Nostalgia is not a strategy. 4 words I would put on the wall of every leadership team in the country, because nostalgia rarely calls itself nostalgia. It calls itself experience. It calls itself defending what works. It calls itself being careful. But underneath, it is the belief that the old conditions will return, that if we hold on long enough, things will go back to how they were. They will not. And the leadership teams that are thriving have accepted that. The ones that are stuck are still hoping otherwise. So Carney closed his speech with an invitation. He said the path was open to any country willing to take it. So let me close with the same. If your sign is still in the window and you know whether it is, the most important conversation you can have this quarter is the one that takes it down. Not with the whole company, not yet. With the leadership team in a room, honestly. What do we now privately believe is no longer true? What are we still performing in public because nobody has said it out loud? What does winning actually look like from here? Are we one team or several? Is there one strategy or are there shadows? Are we ready to bring the people below us into the design? Or are we still trying to hand it down? That conversation is the start of the redesign. It is the moment the year stops happening to you and starts being something that you architect. The conditions will keep doing what they do. The architecture is what separates the businesses that pull ahead from the ones that fall behind. The path is open. It is open to any leader, any team, and any business willing to take it. So take the sign down, architect the year. And if you want help and want help to get there faster because time is against you, my team and I would be delighted. No, we would be honored to help. We sharpen strategies, help teams align, allow organizations to contribute at scale. We help teams set better goals, work towards meaningful outcomes, carefully choose commitments, and experiments intelligently. We stop what's not going to work sooner than ever and create a culture that's driving to the same destination, but just faster. So follow me for more content on strategies, goals, and optimizing goal achievement. And visit zofri.com to join other leaders who are leveling up in their own strategy and goal setting skills to ensure that we come out of these turbulent times healthier and unscathed.